Okay, quick video on how this is wired. So this pops up, same as in the auto stop eliminator video. In order for it to come up fully, the gear has to be in neutral. I have it in park right now because if you put it in neutral, the car will beep and I don't want to have to talk over that. But you can probably get an idea there. You see the wires coming out. All you need is a relatively small hole, and then there's just 2 screws to mount it, and this cover plate just pops on. I'll show you what the other side looks like. This plate here is literally just pulled off, just pops right off. There's your 12 volt, and then I have the ground on so that's an M6 nut, and then the 12 volt comes up underneath. Just have a couple zip ties, comes right out here to this add a fuse. The original fuse should go on the bottom. In this case it's 7.5. The new fuse goes on the top. I have it on a 10 because I have 2 of these, and that gives you 120 watts, 12 volts times 10 amps, and each of the chargers has a max of 48 watts. You want to make sure that the 12 volt coming in is on the left side here, because these 2 sides are running parallel. And if you do this in reverse, it'll run through your original fuse first, and that'll limit the whole circuit. So you would only have 7.5 amps on the entire circuit rather than 17.5 and 2 separate circuits. So I have this in module 12 right up here. That is for the heads-up display. I have the SX without the Prestige package, so I don't have the heads-up display, but the fuse was in there. Went ahead and left it anyway. I'm kind of curious if there's actually wires up there that you could add it later, but the point is it works well. You'll see there are a number of others. This is one that's always on, by the way, so you got to decide whether you want it to come on with the car in accessory mode, or when the engine is on. And each one of these little pins right next to the fuse allows you to test, first of all, whether it comes on with the car or always on, and then second, whether it is the 12 volt on the left side or right side. Like for instance, a couple of these over here, the 12 volt comes from the right side and not the left side. So this add a fuse would need to be upside down. So, you know, because you want everything to come in on this side. So that's doing the wires, splicing them together. I'll show you kind of what I did. A little tough to do with one hand, but you'll get the idea. You're going to put these 2 together. You want them to fan out a little bit. This is silicone insulation, and they're already tinned, so it should be a little bit easier to solder. You'll kind of get these together like this, and then you'll twist them together clockwise. Obviously difficult to do with one hand. This will slide over top, which I think you get the idea. Then you have your heat gun, and you'll heat the solder core, and it will spread to the wires here. If you have some flux, that would be ideal to put on first. So before you do that, dip it in some flux. Might give you a better result, or you can hand solder if you have that. But that's the basic idea for that that method. Other option is just Wago 221s. They're clear, so you can make sure that you get the wire in well enough. Probably have too much stripped off here, but you'll get the point. Get it in there, pull it down, and that will not come off. Do it on both sides and you're good to go. That's pretty much it. It's been a good car so far. I do have the proximity on as well, so the auto unlock, really like that. Some tissues. If you're curious about that, it was also pretty easy to do, and if you can do this project, you can definitely do that. That just requires taking off a couple panels here, and it's great to never have to walk up to the car, unlock it, walk away, it locks.